Hi, everybody. Welcome to our live. So this is about twin flame dreams and their meaning and interpretation. My name is Kristina, and I'm here with other certified ascension coaches. I'm here with Kristina, Paco and Deb, and Kanisha, and we're here to talk to you guys about twin flame dreams and everything about this topic. So we're gonna start off with a card reading to really get the vibe, and Kristina's got that for us. So there you go.
Hi guys, and welcome to the live. So yeah, today we're starting with a card, and I used the Psychic Tarot for the Heart by John Holland. Really enjoying this deck, and yeah, we pulled this card right before the live, and yeah, you're not going to believe what card it is. We swear this is the card that came out. It's the Daydreams and Decisions card. So yeah, obviously we are talking about dreams today and the meaning of twin flame dreams. And yeah, what I really got from this card is that it's actually about taking your dreams and using them to take action. So what do your twin flames show you? What does your twin flame show you in your dreams? What are you being shown to heal? What is your mind showing you? And what is it showing you to move towards? Like, what are the actions and the decisions that you need to take? And so, yeah, that was what I got from this card. Yeah. Kristina, did you want to share what you got?
Yeah, I wanted to share that, it's really affirming what we're going to be talking about, which is that your dreams are extremely powerful tools to understand your subconscious. It's really important to also understand that your dreams are, we'll talk more about this, but your dreams are showing you feelings, and they're not necessarily like facts. It's feelings, hidden things coming up, and it's places in your consciousness that are calling for your love and attention.
I just love it. It's perfectly explained. So
exactly what I experienced the whole week. God is always kind of preparing me for a life, and I had very intense dreams, and I woke up with a specific feeling, and I had this feeling the whole day. Like Kristina said, it was guiding me. My dream was guiding me to a next piece in my inner healing, and this was it felt very long in the whole process. The dream was so clear here. I was remembering every facet of it. What was necessary for my inner healing was very helpful.
Yeah, I remember also when I started this journey, it was very helpful to understand, like, not getting stuck on what the dream meant, kind of like on a superficial or rational level, but instead looking at how it made me feel, because it was the thread to actually give me the meaning of the dream at the end. It's like before I was kind of like cracking my skull. What does it mean? What does it mean? I was kind of like taking it literal, and it was not making much sense. Like, it could be a zillion interpretations, but like Kristina was sharing, each dream is meant to awaken something that was hidden in your mind and kind of like bring it up so that you can actually look at it and see what your own consciousness is communicating, like what is asking of you. So I feel like that was very helpful. Like right now, that's kind of like the approach, and in 5 minutes I can already pick up like, oh, okay, is this meaning, or has this meaning to me? Because of course, and we see this in the open forum a lot, like people ask, oh, I had this dream with my twin flame, what does it mean? But the truth is that the interpretation will vary from one person to another, because it depends on what your journey is requesting of you. Like, what is the next step for you? So it's kind of like you have to take it with a pinch of salt, and always go back to looking again, like everyone was saying, how it makes you feel. Like, what is the feeling that brought up? I feel like it's kind of like a key piece.
Yeah. And if you're needing more support and guidance in that, you would want to go to God for that. You just simply ask him, like, can you please explain or show to me what the interpretation of this dream is? And throughout your day and the next few days, that will come up for you to be able to really heal and get clear on what that interpretation was. But again, not attaching to it, just really feeling your feelings about it. And as you feel your feelings, it allows you to go deeper into really what is in your subconscious mind. Was there fear? Is there fear? A lot of people will have dreams like, my twin flame is with someone else. Okay, well, what's the feeling that brought up for you? And that was your next piece. A lot of the times your upsets can come up in your dreams so that you can heal them through your dreams instead of having to heal them in real life with your twin flame. It's a really compassionate way to move through the journey.
Yeah, that's true. I remember, I feel it was Chrissy sharing in the Twin Flame Ascension School, in several Twin Flame Ascension schools, and she also, every once in a while, she comments this also throughout the group and the comments, is how much you can actually do your inner healing through the dreams too. Like you can have a very active part in your journey. And like Kanisha was saying, you don't have to wait for your twin flame to kind of like throw an upset on your face. Maybe your mind already kind of like can guide you there and pave the way to, of course, like receive your union.
Yeah. And also one of the, as you go deeper into this journey and you start really doing the mirror exercise, you go through this process of upheaval. And for me, upheaval was really intense at first because I was healing some really deep core upsets. And so my coach had recommended that I set the intention to move through my upheaval while I'm sleeping. So sometimes you'll have intense dreams because the upheaval has to come through your dreams. So again, really important not to attach, but I would recommend maybe having a dream journal. So then as you write out your dreams, you can start to see the patterns and the upsets as they come up and see the correlation through your dreams.
Oh, totally. I remember doing that even before this teaching. I found it very useful in truth. I was like, okay, I've been having this dream recurrent base. I was like, okay, there has to be something. And I remember after learning about the mirror exercise and the teachings of union, I still had that journal, and I sort of went back and kind of like reread through some of them, like the ones I felt guided. And I was like, oh, so, okay. So that was what it's what I saw. And I started kind of like underlying the kind of like the common parts, the touching between the different dreams throughout maybe like months or years. And like it was really powerful. Like you can really, what do you say? Like advance very fast on your journey by doing that. That is a very good recommendation. Thank you, Kanisha.
Yeah, like when your twin flame like speaks to you in your dreams, whether it's like you see it as positive or negative, like they actually are like speaking to you because like you share one consciousness. And like Ashley has said before that like dreams, they are real in the sense that like when you wake up you feel different, like it like impacts your consciousness, it does impact your mind and your heart. And so like it does impact your vibration because like you can feel like, oh, I woke up like Paco and you said like, oh, I woke up feeling this way and I had to like move through that the whole day. It's like really intense. Like that's a real experience. So like, yeah, like you don't have to like discount your dreams. I feel like people think that maybe they're not real or like there's like confusion about it of like, what does this mean for me? Like, was it just a dream or does it like mean something? But like they do mean things. And like when you heal the upsets that come up, like let's say you have like a nightmare about your twin, like them being with someone else or ignoring you or something like that, when you heal it with a mirror exercise, you'll experience like your dreams start to change and they will be mirroring different things to you in your dreams. And conversely, if you are experiencing like positive things with your twin flame in your dreams, well then, yeah, like that's real too. It's not just a fantasy. It's not imaginary. Like, yeah, it's very real. And so you can track that. Yeah.
That kind of like brings me back to the fact that in our minds, like it doesn't distinguish from fiction and reality. So like everyone can remember at least one vivid dream where you woke up and you actually believed that you were in that situation. It kind of like took you a while to kind of like acknowledge that, oh, okay, no, I'm in my room now, that I'm safe. Like it was a dream. But of course, like that's somewhere in your mind, the corner of your head, like at the back of your head. And it's kind of like a knocking on the door, maybe. It's like, hey, like Kristina was saying at the beginning. Yes, pay attention here.
So I'd like to support our audience in, discussing a little more in detail for someone who maybe has not, is just kind of starting this journey or like coming upon this for the first time. What does it mean when you dream about your twin flame, and how should you process these dreams? What's a good way? We're talking a lot about how we feel our feelings and process our dreams, but can we go over that, like maybe in like a kind of like in a tutorial kind of way or a step-by-step kind of way of like how do you process a dream?
Yeah, I mean, for me, again, the dream journal was a huge one where it was kind of the first thing I would do would be wake up and write out what I remembered about my dream and allowed myself to feel my feelings through it. If there was something that felt really bad about it, I just mirrored what that feeling was. And a lot of the times it would actually be showing me what my block was that week that I was already working on. And so it let me kind of know like what the piece was that I was missing of what I wasn't seeing. So as I really sat with that and allowed myself to move through it and then get to a place of peace where I wasn't attaching to the dream or still trying to figure out what it meant, it felt like I had really processed it in that way. I also like to pull cards for myself when I'm moving through dreams, because sometimes like we say, it could feel like you just are not sure what the interpretation is. And so when you set the intention and you just ask God and you have that conversation with God, you can pull cards and that will help bring clarity as well.
Something that helps me is paying attention to like symbolism. So like if I remember like, oh, there was like a white dog or, like just very specific details, I like Google like what that means to like get more clarity on like what it could be symbolizing. So that helps too, is like paying attention to the details of like what you remember.
Yeah, I find that like dream interpretation tools can help, like online stuff, and I also can use that as a touch point, right? Because a lot of these symbols that you come across in your dreams can be specific to you, right? And it could mean something really specific to you. And so there's a lot of like places where there's an invitation to really feel through your feelings, and like you can feel into like, well, how did you feel about that white dog? What does it mean to you when you see that? And it's like you said, it's a real experience that you're having, and it's allowing you to like see a different side of yourself, that because when you're sleeping, right, when you're dreaming, you don't have resistance to whatever's coming up in your subconscious, whereas like when you're awake, you may have some resistance to some of these feelings. And so it's a really strong opportunity to really get clear on how it is that you really feel about something.
Yeah, my twin flame and I both had a dream when we were both with false twin flames. My dream was that my false twin flame, like in my dream, it just kept showing his left hand and that he had like a wedding band on. And with my twin flame, his dream was that he was leaving his girlfriend and then she went to another guy. So we both were having dreams that the people that we thought were our person were actually not, and that they were in other relationships. And we thought that it was so crazy that God both gave us a dream that was very similar so that we could move out of that situation. That's actually what happened. Was like the next day we both felt our feelings and we're like, our subconscious mind is telling us that this is not the right relationship. And the more that we healed it, the more that the truth came to the surface. And we were able to really receive the truth. And so it's like, if you do ask God the truth, he will bring you the truth. And so you don't have to sit in the confusion or the doubt and wondering what's happening. You just go to God and he will make that clear for you.
Yeah, so that was a very real experience, like it was like the truth of your reality.
I remember asking God, like, God, is this my twin flame? And if not, please show me, because this is what my dream was and I need the truth here. And within, I want to say 2 days, the truth came to the surface and I was like, okay, I feel peaceful letting go of this relationship because core values are not in alignment. and God has showed me the truth. I'm not going to go against what God has showed me. I'm going to follow what he showed me. And very soon after that, me and my twin flame came into contact with each other. And that's when one of our first conversations were about the dream that God had given us to get out of the previous relationship we were in. So that was pretty cool for us to have that synchronicity.
Nice.
You wanted to say something?
Yeah, the first thing what I do when I have such a dream, I wake up and I take it serious. I try to just jump into my day. I take time for myself and take myself serious in what I dream, because we are kind of, everyone has a job or something to do, but no, there is something your unconscious mind would like to show you and bring in awareness to you. And then you can do what the others shared, what feels good to you. Try stuff out. I once reached out to a coach for an interpretation for my dream, or I speak with my ascension coach about it and I heal my feelings. I support myself here too, because I take it serious. And when I still have the dream in my mind, I'm not fully healed through it. And so I'm supporting myself here and I take it serious, because there is something God wants to show me through my dream, and it's something important because that's still here. And it's very helpful to receive sometimes here support too.
I have a question already, which is on the topic. It says, Manuela is asking, whenever I have nightmares with my twin flame, I feel I cannot resist writing it out, or I push it away because I'm afraid those fears will come true if I give them energy and attention. Any tips or advice on that?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, so your dream was alerting you to fears that are already in your consciousness. Those fears are already in your vibration. They're already there, right? And so, like, because you may be holding on to a fear of addressing them in your waking life, they came up through your dreams to kind of like highlight, right? Because if you remember your dream, or if your dream was very like vivid to you, or it sticks with you, there's a purpose to it. And so you're never gonna manifest something by giving it attention to heal it. I think a lot of people have that fear that, like, I don't want to think these bad thoughts because I'll make them come true. But you're already, those feelings are already there, and not addressing it is what actually can
make them manifest. I have
Yeah.
this quote from Carl Jung, who says, like, what you resist persists. And like Kristina is saying, like, when you're not really looking at it, you're putting so much energy in trying to fight it back that you're actually giving it power. But when you kind of like relax and say, okay, this is showing me something, like we were saying at the beginning, it's not like I'm gonna take it super serious, but I'm gonna give it the attention that it's asking for, with that intention of healing through what brings up. Then of course, by healing it, you just dissolve the block, and therefore you don't need to manifest it, so you're safe.
Yeah, your subconscious mind, I don't think a lot of people know like quite the difference between subconscious mind and your conscious mind. Your subconscious mind is 95% of what is manifesting in your life. So those are the underlying beliefs that you're not always like aware of. Your conscious mind is what your thoughts, what you hear. And so your subconscious mind is what you're healing with the mirror exercise, and having to go deep into those places where maybe you didn't even realize you had a misalignment or a missed thought there. But having to go deep into that is what's going to change your beliefs. That's going to change what's happening in your reality. And so giving it the time and the attention is what's going to help you really move through that, because you're no longer ignoring it. You're giving the attention that it's been like Deborah said earlier, knocking on the door. You finally open the door to look at it and not attach to it or identify with it, but to give yourself permission to love yourself in that space that it's asking for.
Yeah, and you can also use it like as an opportunity to like make a new choice. So like if you're having a nightmare, you can look at like, okay, what was I like choosing in the dream, right? Like what was the choice? And like reaffirm what you do want. So you're not like focusing on the fear, you're just like loving yourself through what came up in the dream, and then you're making like the new choice and visualizing and focusing on like what you actually want, like taking the power that's going into fear and putting it into like the peace and the love.
Yeah, it also feels like it's kind of telling you the overall energy that you're in just in the moment of your union. I get a lot of clients who talk about like, it always, in my dreams, my twin flames in the other room, or they have their back towards me, or I can't see their face. But then once we start to heal like the core upsets around abandonment and avoidance and all of those things, it's like my twin flame was right in front of my face and we had a whole conversation. Like, it really does help you, give you the energy of where your union is in that moment.
Absolutely. Plus, your mind doesn't recognize negative. So the more you say no to something, the more you're going to keep thinking about it. So you just choose the easy path. Look at it.
Yep.
You don't have to throw a party. You don't have to be happy. My twin flame tells me to go bury myself. That's okay. But just like simply look at it.
Yeah, it's the fear of feeling those feelings that are keeping them stuck there. Like, you don't need to be afraid of feeling things. You know, it's very, that's why the mirror exercise is so supportive, because you're giving yourself the space to feel your feelings in like a safe and like, contained environment, rather than having to manifest something that like, completely like takes you by surprise, right? And there's shock and upset, right? Yeah, exactly. You're giving yourself the opportunity to like explore these scenarios and feel through the feelings and heal through what comes up in a very safe container of your notebook.
Yep.
Yeah. So
yeah, and you're not your feelings either. I think that's a big one, as a lot of people be like, this is who no, you're not your feelings. They're literally, how I like to see it is, your feelings are just the arrow pointing you into a space that needs love and light. That is it.
Yeah. So how do you guys, how do you connect to your twin flame in your dreams? Like, if somebody is really desiring to like explore their connection with their twin flame, like what do your dreams about your twin flame like reveal to you?
That's a good one. But I remember very recently dreaming about like the what I consider were kind of like the three most important men in my life before actually revealing Paco as my twin flame. And in each of them, there was an aspect of my divine masculine. And I was kind of like, it was a dream that helped me be very clear about not only those relationships, because of course I got certain attachments to them, but at the same time, kind of like received the truth of, kind of like my twin flame was kind of sort of hidden behind these three people, taking care, guiding me. So that was kind of like how I connected. It doesn't always show up as Paco. Sometimes it's just a masculine figure that will kind of like channel his energy. That's the most recent one that I remember. I also kind of like had dreams with my false twin flame at the beginning of the journey as well. And like we were speaking from the beginning, he was just pointing me to certain blocks to receiving my union. So it was just basically like what we've been saying all along, just looking at it. But I felt this last one was very interesting. I kind of like shared it immediately with him when we woke up. I was like, you know what, I kind of like dreamt with these three, like my father and the person I dated for like 3 years and so, and kind of like the guy who was my super best friend. And I was like, but I'm not sure I dreamt with them. I feel like it was you behind them all the time. And so he was like, okay, how did you feel about, like, because it was like 3 scenarios very clearly defined. And so he was kind of like having that conversation with me and getting clear. It was like, and the second was the guy that I was dating, and getting clear, like, that was not really what I was looking for, even though it looked like it. And I was like, okay. it helped also kind of like release even more that relationship, even though it's been kind of like almost 15 years since I broke up with this guy or something. Same with my father, or same with this other person. It was just like, oh, it was kind of like you, like the divine through you, always protecting me, like always keeping me safe and reminding me that. And that piece felt like really good. I was like, okay, I can surrender a little bit more into my twin flame. But it can show anything from a block to the progress we are making, or like Kanisha was sharing the upheaval.
Yeah,
So.
I think for me, and again, everyone's situation or dreams are going to be unique to them. But when I would have dreams about false twin flames or just people I was in a relationship with, I could never see their face clearly. It's like you could see the outline of them, but you can never see them clearly. With my twin flame, he's clear as if I'm seeing you guys. Like it was very odd for me the first time I had a dream of him to be able to see him so clearly, that it was my consciousness telling me, like, you're seeing yourself clearly now. You're seeing who your true twin flame is clearly. And that was a great indication for me. And even till this day, when I have dreams of him, he's, again, as clear as you guys are. So that was a really huge relief for me. Because like Deborah said, there was always a masculine, but I could never clearly see his face. I could only feel his energy. And that was something that Shalia had said. I don't know what course it is, because I think she said it multiple times, where you don't recognize your twin flame by your eyes, you recognize them by your heart and the energy and the feeling. And that was exactly something that had occurred to me. It was like, oh, this person feels like home. It has nothing to do with their looks, it's their energy. And it was an energy that I had recognized before. And so that was something that was really important for me on my personal journey.
Yeah, this Michaela is also like sharing in the comments. She says, this conversation reminds me of how Jeff and Shalia talked about in classes, that if you have a romantic dream about someone who is not your twin flame, you're actually dreaming about your twin flame, because that's who your consciousness is programmed to be attracted to. And that you are actually seeing in your dream a different aspect of your true twin flame. And like, yeah I agree, like that's very cool.
All of the people that you date, the things that you love about them are all the things that you're going to love about your twin flame. Like your twin flame holds all of those qualities that you loved about all the people that you dated.
Yeah.
I think with that, like, I feel like it's really nice that Michaela said that, because I think that people will like dream about like someone else and they're like, oh my gosh, I had this dream about this other person. And then it's like, you can go down the rabbit hole of like, oh my God, why did I dream about them? But like you said, Kanisha, and also Michaela said, like, it's always like the energy, right? Like it's your twin flame. And so like, it's okay if it comes through like not your twin flame in your dream, it's still them. And so you can surrender to like what it looks like and just like go through the feelings, like how it felt to you.
Yeah, it could also be pointing you to, like, if it comes through, another person or something, it could also be pointing you to something that maybe you don't feel that you can access at this time within yourself or within your twin flame. And so like if you're playing out a romance with someone else, right? Like maybe it's like there's a part of you that feels on some level that you can't access that within yourself yet. And so another person outside of you is coming in the dream to show you that. Really depends on your dream, right? But that's why feeling your feelings and healing through that is so important, because ultimately, like, everything that you desire, like you can access that within yourself, and your twin flame is everything that you desire.
Yeah. Or even like vice versa to what you said. I just had a dream recently of an ex, and it brought up all the things that I had upsets in that relationship. And I was like, oh, I don't think I've actually processed this relationship, and I need to process it before I have to process it with my twin flame. So let's do this now. So I was very grateful that came up in a dream so that I could heal that at that time.
Being proactive. It does pay off. Yep.
Yeah. And like also, you can set the intention too, to have, you know, to do spiritual work with your dreams, and like, to, you know, dream intentionally in the sense of like, you know, asking for clarity or asking for, you know, the next step, and the feelings that come up in the dreams that you dream are, you know, useful and purposeful.
Mhm. I like it because I am seeing behind Kristina is its dream until your dreams come true.
Yeah.
And kind of like it also ties in with the card that she pulled. In the dreams, there's more than what meets the eye. It can be your next step. It can be a little bit of upheaval. It can be your desires, like helping you get clear, like, oh, this is like the romance that I desire with my twin flame. Or it can take so many forms and shapes what the conscious mind is trying to communicate to you. So like the card says, kind of like be very clear about the message behind the dream. Is it something to heal? Is it something for you to get clear? Is a little bit of both? Is a little bit of upheaval? Like let it come to you, and like don't go bananas. Oh, I just dreamt about my ex. It doesn't mean that my ex is my twin flame. No, like maybe it's just one aspect of them, or like Kanisha was sharing, maybe something unresolved that would be very cool to have kind of like a closure that you can move into your union without dragging that into the relationship and kind of like putting it on your twin flame simply because your past relationships didn't work out. That can also, like, I remember that was also part of the piece of the dream I was kind of like sharing before. It was like something unresolved from that relationship, and it kind of like needed that bit of closure. And of course that allows you to receive your twin flame like even more, like let it be the juicy relationship that it's meant to be.
Yeah, something else that's coming to mind as we're talking about like healing through our dreams and like, you know, receiving like guidance and insight from our dreams. Jeff and Shalia sometimes show up in my dreams and like help me work through stuff or like point things out to me. So, you know, you can really like receive support, you know, through your dreams by like the experiences that play out.
Yeah, like even coaches too, or of course, like as you develop a relationship with the teachings and you become a student, and then you get to this point where you can recognize Jeff and Shalia as the gurus in your journey, then they will help you too. I remember once having also like a client after a couple of months, and he's saying, I dream about you, and you were like saying this, and this to me in the dream, and I took it like it's a very good sign to kind of like keep moving in that direction. I felt it very cool, like that even with members of the community, you can also have that experience, how interconnected we all are in the journey. That a message can come through not just your twin flame, but pretty much anyone that you are establishing a relationship here with.
Yeah, I think for me, once you go deep into this work, I don't know about you guys, but I literally hear myself mirroring in my dreams, like going through each step in my dreams and getting to a place of peace and then moving forward in my dream. So that's been a pretty cool aspect of being able to really ground that work as you're sleeping.
Yeah, I've had it happen where I wasn't doing the mirror exercise like in like the steps, but I've had it happen where in dreams where I was like faced with a situation and I like made a new choice and I felt that relief in the dream. And it to me, like I always interpreted that as like a shift in my consciousness and like the dream showing me where I've changed and where I've healed. Yeah, and like you start to develop your own relationship with symbols that appear in your dreams. Like I'll give an example. Whenever I am making like big changes in my life or like kind of like leveling up in my journey, I'll always dream that I'm at an airport. And like they're like, I used to have like a lot of like resistance to growth and stuff. And I would always dream that I was at an airport and I would miss my flight. And like for the past few years, when I dream about airports, I'm always like making it to the other destination. And so like to me, how my relationship with that airport symbolism for me is like it's helping me see like where I've been making new choices in my healing. So
that's very cool.
And it's really important because I know that you brought up like bringing up Jeff and Shalia or your coach, really important taking the guidance that is brought up and taking that seriously. I had a dream probably about 4 months ago. Jeff was working on a car outside of my apartment, and he's telling me how I need to work on my finances so that I could get out of the apartment that I'm in because I deserve better. And I was just like, but I like my apartment. And so I started really feeling into it. And as I started to feel into it, I could feel where it actually felt really bad to be where I was, because I desired such an expansion and a space that allowed me to really do the work that God is calling me to do. And so as I focused on healing that at the core, I just moved into my new apartment yesterday. And it's so much bigger and it's so much like luxurious compared to where I was. And so really following the advice that comes through whoever is speaking to you, that is God moving through that person. And for me, it was like, I knew that if it probably came from someone else, I probably wouldn't have taken it so seriously. But because it came from my guru, I was like, we're going to listen to this. And it was really the next piece for me in my life purpose, was to get a bigger place.
Yeah, I agree. I remember, I have it written down somewhere because at some point I stopped remembering, like as time goes by, I stopped remembering details, but having like dreams with them too. The last one was, we were, I don't really recall which city it was. I don't even know if it was kind of like in the US or in Europe. And I remember we were having like a coffee. It was night and we were standing, it was kind of like a very small coffee shop, and it was in front of this building that looked a little bit like a disco. And we were kind of like sharing our thoughts and feelings about the experience of kind of like having been invited into the party, but not really feeling very comfortable, and actually deciding that it felt much better to us just like drink a coffee together. And I remember like Jeff and Paco were like talking business. They were like two kids in a candy store talking about business. And Shalia and I were sharing our passion for like art and design. And it felt like a friendship was building. And that was like very close to my heart, because even on the outside, the relationship doesn't look like it. It means that I am growing to a point where I can actually meet my gurus there. And like, of course, it's a relationship with everything. It's not just like about your twin flame. It's everything that actually brought you together with them. That actually kind of like solidifies that and allows you to keep your union and move it forward even beyond.
Yeah. So what would you tell somebody that that was like kind of just feeling through a dream? You know, what would you recommend be like the first thing you do if you had like a really impactful dream?
Take a deep breath.
You're safe.
Grab it. Yeah. It was just an energy passing through. It's like being at the theater watching. It can be the greatest show or the worst one. And if it helps, grab a piece of paper and a pen and start writing down the things that call to your attention, the feelings that you were having, the details, like the white dog or something that you feel has meaning. In a dream, a lot can happen, but there are certain, like, there's always like, let's say 4 or 5 things that will call to you. Doesn't matter if you remember the whole thing or just pieces of it. And then, like we were saying at the beginning, move through how it makes you feel. If you have the mirror exercise, even better, because you can actually like reflect that and see what the situation was showing you, or what the object or the specific thing. And you will soon start to realize like, okay, cool. This is just showing me something. I don't have to take it like super personal. At the beginning, I feel like we lack the tools to put like an arm's length, and we tend to take like the dreams very seriously in the wrong way. It's like, oh, this is gonna happen.
You stay longer than necessary in a not good feeling. And I learned at the beginning, with help, it gets easier and I can move through it faster, and it feels so amazing. This compassion, I was not used to that. I need to learn to receive help here, and felt so good with my ascension coach. I was able to move really bad feelings, dreams I never wanted to look at because it was so uncomfortable. But I was able to do it just faster, and faster is here with more compassion for yourself. That's it.
Yeah, non-attachment. That's a big one. Like that's a big lesson to learn on the ascension journey altogether, is not attaching to a place, person, or thing. And so not attaching to your dream in any way, and just asking like, what is it that it's showing me? It's really just it's loving you perfectly just by showing you where you're needing to heal in your consciousness.
Yeah, once you like really like release attachment to like a fear that it's, something that's going to happen or something like that. Once you release attachment, it becomes like this safe container that you can use for healing. And like, it's a really, really powerful tool because, it's like you get to see what's going on in your consciousness that you might not like be aware of in your waking life.
Yeah, I shuffled the cards and I just wanted to like look at what the bottom card would be, just out of curiosity. Is like, we're talking about this, and it's crown chakra, which is cool because it's also the number 7, like our other card. And yeah, the crown chakra, is about like receiving the divine's messages for you, divine guidance. And so yeah, like you guys that we're all saying, I feel like the best thing to do when you wake up from a dream is to like write it down in the journal, so like you don't forget it later. Like, if you can't sit down right away, just write it down, and then you can revisit it and feel your feelings about it and pull cards on it. And just like look for like the core message and the core guidance that you're receiving. Like Kanisha, you shared you got guidance about your apartment, like things like that. Like what, just like feel into the core of like the energy of it and like the message, and that will allow you to move through it faster instead of like trying to like look at all different things. Just like, what's like the one thing that like really stood out to you, and then from there you can continue and expand.
And if writing it out, this is what I've done before, if writing it out, like if the dream was so intense that it was just a lot to process, I've just pulled out my phone and like did a quick video and just went through it and expressed how I felt. That way I was able to go back to it. And as I've done that, there's been some just crazy dreams that God gives you that like lets you know. I don't know. I had a dream that we were going into lockdown a week before we went into COVID lockdown. And I was just like, it was a very terrifying dream. Like, I was just like, what is happening? But I think because we're one consciousness, sometimes when healing as a conscious, it will come through you for whatever reason. You're the person that's going to heal that for the consciousness in a sense. And so it's having to allow yourself to just process that you are a vessel. God will move through you in any way that he desires to move through you. But again, non-attachment is going to be really important because you don't have to identify to it in any type of way.
Yeah. Well, thank you, everybody. This has been a really great live. I wanna let everybody know who's watching that there's a lot of support available to you in this community for your twin flame journey. We're all certified ascension coaches. You can sign up to be matched with a certified ascension coach at twinflamesuniverse.com. And you can also sign up for the free introductory ascension Ascension course that also contains a coupon for 50% off your first session. So you can find all of that information at twinflamesuniverse.com. If anybody else has anything they'd like to say as we wrap up.
I did write a complete on my end.
Great. Well, yeah, I hope everybody has a really wonderful weekend ahead. And yeah, we'll see you next time.
See you.